And welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to another week, another edition of the Sparkling Tuna Cup. Week number 92, your weekly dose of open tuna StarCraft action. I'm Coach Live. I'm Coach your host, Live VIP. With me, I'm joined by these amazing players, by the people in chat, and by the plushies as well. Welcome, one and all, to a very long day of Star. Very long day of StarCraft. We were just live earlier this morning with Anonymous Cup Day 1, and we have a back-to-back, bro. Let's go, baby, let's go. We have an intense broadcast. We begin with Sparkling Tuna Cup. We continue with Anonymous Cup Day 2, and we end the broadcast with the RSL, the Revival StarCraft League European Qualifier. 3 tournaments back to back. It's going to be an intense broadcast. Let's go, Bobby. Let's go. I'm ready. I'm excited. I think the most brutal thing about it is that there are going to be no breaks in between. It's going to be from one tournament to the other, and to the other. And here we go. We are jumping into our first series of the broadcast. We're jumping in to our TVZ, and spawning in the top left-hand corner of Lost Fantasy, we have the German Terran player, the Blue Terran, representing the Platinum Heroes. It is Captainfisch. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the pink Zurich player representing the Platinum Heroes as well, as this is a team kill. It is Hatsu. And if you're in the chat, you know what time it is. It is Gamma time. Predictions are open. Place your bets on who you think will claim the series. Best of luck in the chat as we jump into our ZvT, as we jump into Lost Fantasy. Welcome, one and all, to the most vetoed map in the map pool. It is the most vetoed map. We rarely get to see any games on Lost Fantasy, so I'm ready. I'm excited. Welcome to a 3-player spawn map. You can spawn in bottom left, bottom right, or top side as well. Overlord Scout towards the top side is going to instantly get eyes on Captainfisch. SV is going to be scouting bottom left, and I believe the Overlord will barely not get eyes on the SCV. So Hatsu is currently in the dark, but will soon confirm the CC. We'll soon confirm the command center. Meanwhile, behind this is going for a hatch gas pull. Standard opener out of Hatsu. Likewise, Captainfisch building up back at him as well. SCV Scout will confirm that Hatsu is not in the bottom left-hand corner of the map. Likewise, Captainfisch going for Reactor first. Ooh, Reactor first here to Captainfisch. A little bit greedy. No Reaper. Captainfisch does skip his Reaper, going for a Rack Expand into Reactor instead, into his follow-up, I would imagine, Factory. So Captainfisch is cutting corners, and that means there's going to be no Reaper harass. Likewise, Hatsu claiming a third. Does claim a third base. Again, hatch gas pull into a third. So far, standard play out of Hatsu so far. Hello, Shaffins. Hello, there's in chat. Prometheus as well. No clone. Esther, no clone. Look at that. Steel mold as well. I saw steel mold. Easy fill. BBQ. Rowdy. Esther Rowdy. Always good to see you. Oh. As it is tuna time. It is tuna time. Gaha. When it comes to Captainfisch's play, typically I do know him as a mech player. He plays a lot of mech, BC-based openers into Hellion Cyclone, into Battle Mech. That is typically how I recognize Captainfisch, but we'll see if he does go for a bio-based follow-up instead. Keep an eye on our Terran player. When it comes to Lost Fantasy, it isn't just a 3-player small map. It's also very defendable. If you did want to try to wall up, wall off, and play hyper defensive, you can do so on Lost Fantasy, just because there are so many small, narrow choke points here that you can wall up, you can wall off, and you can fortify yourself. Meanwhile, Roche follow-up here out of Hatsu. Going for the Roaches. Claiming a third base. Meanwhile, 1-1-1 out of Captainfisch. Staying on 2 bases. No third CC. Yeah, no third command center, so a delayed third base in favor of a faster starport. Much more aggressive build here from Captainfisch. With this, we can go into, I was going to say faster Banshee, but there's no tech lab. So no add-on swap. This means we're going most likely Viking first. Viking into Fusion Core? Uh-oh. This does feel like Fusion Core based play. Yep. Starport does float back, does hide the tech lab, and no add-on swap. Shows that Fusion Core. As so far that's what this build reads as, but we would have already seen the Fusion Core by now. We have the money for it. It's proxied. Okay. Sure, that makes sense. There we go. So the Fusion Core is going to be proxied, but yes, the initial 111, the lack of add-on on the racks did scream Fusion Core. Typically, as Hellies, they do bust into the mineral line. Drones are going to be going down so far, getting 6 drone kills, getting up to 9. The drones, they do line up, and 9 worker kills are brutal already. And it's going to be on Hatsu to re-drone to resaturate. Roaches are revealed. Hatsu can go for an early roach push. Back at home, no tanks. Remember, it's purely Hellion and Vanilla Marines in that bunker. Right now, Captainfisch is vulnerable, and Hatsu is pushing. And we'll see if Hatsu can break Captainfisch before the BCs hit the field. As roaches are welding across the map, Captainfisch racing back home. Now, this isn't an all-in. There are Ravagers being morphed in, that is true, but I believe Hatsu did just drone up a little bit, but never mind. 12 links are on the way. Again, Hatsu has no idea what's going on. Hatsu has no idea that there is a BC and that there's a proxy or anything crazy going on. BC production has begun, but Hatsu is just committing regardless into said all-in. We can see a little bit of droning here and there out of Hatsu, so a little bit indecisive, but for the most part, Hatsu is committed. For the most part, we have a link flood coming across the map as well, and Hatsu is here to break that natural, to break down the bunker. Now Hatsu taking her time. Oh, there we go. There are the vials. Lings have yet to fully commit. Repairs underway. Vials there on the bunker. The bunker is going to go down. The bunker does fall, but right now we're just buying time up for that BC. SCV is going to be going down. Hatsu does break the natural. 8 SCV kills so far, not bad, but we have to keep going. We need more damage. The first tank. Oh no! Tank arrives. The tank is going to go down. Massive pickoff. No tank. But there is going to be a BC. Back at home, how many queens? Only 3. Only 3 queens. That is concerning. Meanwhile, the BC has arrived. Boys are being pulled into the Roach Ravager. Wow, this doesn't quite connect with the SCVs. But SCVs are falling regardless, and this is a lot of damage. And again, right now we need queens. We need as many queens as possible. The Hellions are going down, which means no Hellion counterattack. SCV still under fire. Catching 22 SCV kills. And we have triple CC behind this. On the vials! Oh my god, massive connections, massive vials. Lings taking flooding in. Some wasted DBS on the factory, I would say, as there are still SCVs to hunt down. But the factory is going to fall. I mean, hey, that means no more Hellions to worry about. True. Does mean no Hellions. And we're still flooding links. Still just flooding links across the map to just catch every single SCV. Ideally, test the gas geyser. Going for the add-on. Back at home, we have how many queens? 2, 4, I want to say around 5. Yeah, 5 queens. GG gets called. The 1 BC is not going to be enough. And Hatsu takes game number 1. Whew, GG. Hatsu does take a lead in the series. Again, Captainfisch with a very cheeky build, but there's a lot that came into play here. One, Captainfisch was rushing into BCs. That is true. Delayed third base. The other thing, remember, Captainfisch didn't scout. No Reaper scout, and he kept his Hellions at home until he built up to 6, and then he went for a Hellion run-by. The run-by did a lot of damage, but again, Captainfisch, he wasn't really concerned with scouting. Never scouted into the main with the Reaper because there was no Reaper, and the Hellions never got into the main base either. So 0 scouting out of Captainfisch. So he was completely caught off guard by the initial all-in from Hatsu by the Ling Roach Ravager. So 0 scouting from the Terran player. He was blindly rushing into BCs. At the same time, Hatsu was blindly going for aggression, going for a Ling Roach Ravager all-in, which did coincide very nicely. You know, the stars aligned. Captainfisch happened to be greedy, happened to be cutting corners, was punished. GG all played. With that, we're now getting into game number 2, and we'll see how this story does end. As we are loading into Torches. Torches being one of these smaller maps on the map, a smaller map, a much more aggressive map as well. Oh boy. And we'll see how our players will adjust here and how aggressive we're going to be. We go. And spawning in the bottom right hand corner of Torches, we have the German Terran player, the Blue Terran. Down in the series, we'll see if he can bounce back. Representing the Platinum Heroes, it is Captainfisch. And spawning in the top right hand corner here of Torches, we have the pink Zurich player, representing the Platinum Heroes as well, leading the series 1-0. It is Hatsu. Actually, Fish loves Marines. He teach me and a friend Bio years ago. You should take him back to Bio because he's been playing nothing but mech as of late. I mean, last game it was BC into mech, but of course he was shut down before we could really embrace that BC mech style. We'll see if we go into mech again, or a different form of mech, or as someone in the chat did mention, we'll see if Captainfisch does actually play Bio instead. Well, we'll see. But again, welcome one all to Torches. Again, Torches is the smallest map of the map pool, shortest rush distance by ground, short rush distance by ground, short rush distance by air. There are some other quirks as well, where we have the center gold bases on the right hand side, gold bases on the left hand side, and of course the healing pad as well. This is also one of the more vetoed maps, to be honest. I want to say Last Fantasy and Torches are the two most vetoed maps in the current map pool, just because of how unorthodox they are and how aggressive, well, I should say, and how aggressive you can be on Torches. So I appreciate that we're going to be able to feature them, but at the same time, if Hatsu's going for another all-in, another roach rush, I do favor that on this map, or I should say this map is going to favor aggressive styles. Meanwhile, this time, Reaper. This time, Captainfisch is going ranked expand, Reaper opener, not reactor, so this time he will be able to scout. This time he'll have some scouting information, SCV dipping in. SCV gets has the timing of the hatchery. Queens are on the way, Lings are on the way. Nothing crazy yet. Here we go. As Hatsu is claiming a third. So again, standard opener, hatch gas spool into a third base. Just like last game as well, like the opener is standard. What we're keeping an eye on though is what the gas is going to be spent on. As Reaper is dipping in. Does a trade, does dance with the Lings, takes down one, not bad, one lingers down. Jesus. And the Reaper is going to be forced back. Now, the other downside of this map is that there is no Reaper cliff into the main. As you can see here, there is a ramp into the main base through the natural, but there is no cliff face here at the third location. So it's going to be more difficult here for the Reaper to scout outside of other maps, so unlike on other maps. So harder scouting here, that's another reason why we don't often see many players play on Torches. Behind this third TC before Starport, so economic build here by Captainfisch. Remember last game, Captainfisch was hyper aggressive, going for a 1-1-1. This time, third TC, more macro oriented. So this time he is playing more economic. Behind this, we do have the Roach Warren on the way. And remember, because of the map, there's no Reaper Scout. Despite opening Reaper, the Reaper is very limited with how it can go into the bases, so no Reaper Scout into the main base. Currently, Captainfisch is once again in the dark. Behind this, going for the starport. And so far, this does seem to be the same build from Hatsu. Helen Reaper poking in. At a certain point, it might be worth scanning the main from Captainfisch. I know that, like, ideally you don't want to waste scans early on, that's true, but at the same time, Captainfisch is completely in the dark, and any attempted scout so far has been denied by the Queens. Behind this, so 3 CC into 3-1-1 is going to be Bio this time from the Terran, not Mech. But the problem here is that, again, he's back at home. He's not active on the map. He doesn't see anything. He doesn't see any attempted move outs. Likewise, no safety bunker because he doesn't know how much danger he's in. Hellion Reaper now pushing, and this should get eyes on the roaches as they push across the map. So late scout. Speaking of, does see some Lings. That's not the biggest of tells. Not yet. Hellions, they poke into the Queens. Roaches are kept hidden until now. Yeah, roaches are now revealed. Now Captainfisch knows, gets a queen. And back at home, we need some SimCity. There we go, bunkers on the way. But again, these are late bunkers. Oh. They are late. Roach is moving out. Hellions are on the high ground. Behind this, not going into Banshee play, is going for earlier stim and going for a Liberator instead. Hellions, they can hold their own. Nice splash damage on the Roaches. Roaches do pull back. Bunkers are going to finish. And with the bunkers completing, I believe Captainfisch should be able to hold here. I don't believe there are enough Ravagers to break this position, but Hatsu is not joining. Hatsu is not joining behind this. Hatsu is committing to the all-in. Likewise, there's barely any Marines either. Like the Marines are not really a factor. While they bring down the first bunker. First bunker does fall. Poison being pulled. Oh, can we pop down the Liberator? The Liberator has arrived. And the Liberator is holding the line for now. Behind this, there's no Marine production. Captainfisch, his macro is slipping here. There we go. Let's go with making a Marine at a time. We are prioritizing the tank. Okay. Tank is on the way. Tank is on the way. Hatsu pushing forward. Files on the Liberator. Does go down. And without that tank, I still feel like Hatsu can break this, for sure. From here on forward, Hatsu is droning and is saturating, but I do feel like Captainfisch is still quite vulnerable here. Of course, Hatsu doesn't know that. Hatsu doesn't know that there was no tank up until now. But Captainfisch is holding. Behind this, Hatsu droning, saturating, building up into Lingbane Roach Ravager. Lair is on the way. I would say that Captainfisch is in a better economic position. Better economy here for Captainfisch. And will soon claim the third. So Captainfisch, he survives, he defends, and I would say he's in a better position at this point. Building up into the mid game. Claiming that third. Bold location for the third expansion. Considering that Captainfisch cannot defend it, and these tumors are going to expire in a couple of seconds. In 30 seconds time will expire. Aliens, they break out. We have yet to mine through these minerals, is my concern, to protect the space. Those are curious, as we throw away the Hellions. 3 of them do get into the mineral line though. 2 of them even. They can't two-shot. Oof. And they get 3 drone kills with 1 volley, not bad. 4 drones. But these do expire now, I believe. They should be expired at this point. Yep. They expire at 7:55. And we'll see if Hatsu checks that base location. So far, the Overlord is here outside of the ramp and has not seen any workers, any transfer. But Hatsu hasn't checked the triangular third. Not yet. Otherwise, that's just free damage. Those are free SCVs. Hatsu is checking for bases. Yeah, checking the triangle, or low ground expansion. Checks the linear expansion as well. Checks Ninja base. And the Spire is done. Interesting. Double drop does get across the map. Catching the Queen. Getting to the mineral line. Oh, that's a lot of worker damage. Late reaction here from Hatsu. Getting 13 drones. So we'll defend. We'll zone away. So does zone. Oh my god. Does zone. Third base getting fully saturated. At this point, Captainfisch, I mean, he was already ahead economically, now far ahead here. If this third base was denied, then we might be seeing a more even back and forth, but this is a brutal position here for Hatsu, for the Zerg. Down in workers, even on bases. And is trying to rush into Ultra Tech. Bold move. Hive is done, but the Hive is not going to help. The Ultra is not going to help because here comes the Bio. Here comes Marines. They can just stim in. Captainfisch can tank those miles. Denies the expansion. And from here can break through. And not enough Banelings. Not enough support on the ground. Just a little bit too greedy rushing into Ultra Tech. GG gets called, and we are going to the ace match. Whew. GG. Captainfisch will survive the aggression, will break out, will overwhelm, will tap the series 1-1. It was an interesting setup. Once again, I do think that if Hatsu was more assertive, I think she could have broken Captainfisch with the initial Roach Ravager. I do think that once again, Captainfisch, his macro was slipping and the defenses were a little bit lackluster. But Hatsu wasn't feeling too confident, so backed off, droned up instead. Unfortunately, didn't quite get eyes on the third base, so wasn't able to punish the economy, wasn't able to try to keep the Terran player contained on a 2-base economy instead. And with that, Captainfisch got out of hand, got out of control. GG. GG well played. With that, we're now getting into the ace match, getting into game 3, and we'll see what map we're going to be loading into. So far, we've had some very unorthodox maps. I mentioned this before, but Last Fantasy and Torches, these two maps that we just saw, are the most vetoed maps in the map pool. They're very aggressive, very quirky in their own way, and we rarely get to see them. So I'm curious where this series ends. We have the answer: Persephone, another aggressive map. So when it comes to Torches, something that did really help Captainfisch, that also I believe something that I believe did help Captainfisch in that last game and did help him keep up, did help him recover, was of course the ramp. A unique feature of Torches, even though the rush distance by ground is very short, and again I still think that was favoring the aggressing player, there is a ramp coming into the natural, which also does kind of give a little bit more ambiguity as to what you're pushing into. It does give a little bit of uncertainty to the aggressing player as well, because they don't see what's on the other side. Here on a standard map, no ramp. There is no ramp coming into the natural, so the natural base is more exposed, is more vulnerable to aggression if we were to once again go for the same build. But here we go. Here we go. We're getting into the ace match, and spawning in the top left-hand corner of Persephone, we have the German Terran player, the blue Terran representing the Platinum Heroes, tying up the series and forcing the ace match. It is Captainfisch. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the pink Zerg player representing the Platinum Heroes as well as our teammates. It is Hatsu. Here we go. As we are once again going at hatch gas pool. Captainfisch has been varying up his opener when it comes to going for a ranks expand. Game 1, of course, did cut corners going into BCs. Game 2 went for a more economic build. But once again, I will say that both in Game 1 and Game 2, Captainfisch has not really been scouting too much. Hasn't really been checking what's going on. Hasn't really been confirming the aggression until the last second. And I mean, Captainfisch still got away with it in that last game, but it was still a very dicey situation. This is where I'm hoping that we see a little bit more persistence when it comes to the Reaper, when it comes to scouting. We do have a Reaper cliff coming into the... Oh, never mind. Oh, yeah. We do have a Reaper cliff coming into the main, so there is a greater chance for Captainfisch to scout what's going on, to slip into the bases, to sacrifice the Reaper, and to try to get a read on what's happening. Unlike Torches. CV Scout does move out. Does move out across the map. And likewise, so far, everything is still looking standard. The SCV does confirm. Here comes the Reaper. So just like the last game, it is going to be a Reaper opener here by Captainfisch. Does open Reaper. Behind this, Hatsu is just going hatch gas pool into a third, droning on up. Behind this, should be working towards Ling speed. But we'll keep an eye on any kind of early roach play. As the Reaper is forced back. Ling speed is on the way, and Hatsu is staying in gas. So once again, this does look like the same build. Hatsu staying in gas. Typically, you'd pull out of gas if you were going into Ling Bane. So the early gas income is intentional, and it should be for early roaches once again. Now again, the rush distance by ground on Persephone is quite short. You can be very aggressive on this map. Unlike the previous map, again, there's no ramp. There's no ramp coming into natural, so the natural base is more exposed. To see once again, Captainfisch going for a third CC before starport, and I assumed it was going to be a roach one, but no, the gases are for a Bane bust. Okay. Different form of aggression. Bane busting can be difficult. What's difficult about Bane busting here on Persephone or against a standard Terran player is the Hellion count. Hellions, they completely shut down Ling Bane, or they can shut down Ling Bane. If the reaction is there, if the kiting is there, if the control is there, then there is a chance that Captainfisch can shut down the aggression of Hatsu. We'll see if the Banelings are able to morph in undetected and waddle in undetected as well. So Truma does fall. Truma does fall. Gas mining underway. Now, I assume that this was for a Bane bust, but it is going to be an early Bane nest into an early lair. That was a 4:10 lair timing here, or 4:15-ish lair timing. So this is an early lair. From here, the plan might just be to go for Baneling speed, I suppose. But this is a more odd build. It's a more unique build so far. I would say it's a little bit inefficient, just because the Baneling nest doesn't really serve a purpose. Doesn't serve much of a purpose here. It technically keeps Hatsu safe against like a Hellbat all-in or a Hellbat push, if there were one. Behind this Captainfisch going to a 3-1-1 setup. Viking into Liberator. Building up into the mid game, a double Evo chamber on the way. Aliens, they can go for a dive into natural. Can go for the dive. So far they trade well. Yep, they head in towards that base. They break through the lings, and the mineral line is exposed. Drone's going to be going down. 5 worker kills, and this might just be too much damage here. Yeah, this might just be game ending. Drones are getting roasted. They line up. 11 drones. 11 drones go down. Gets into the main. Scouts the Baneling nest. More workers going to be falling. As they once again do line up. 22 kills. And that is game ending damage. Ay, ay, ay. 22 workers do go down. Again, the Hellions, unfortunately, there was just no answer. There were no lings, and there was no full wall here at the natural either. So Captainfisch did punish. And from here, Captainfisch is getting a 3rd base, building up a bio army. That's a rough position for Hatsu. And we're taking up. So fast lair into what looks to be a fast hive. But after sustaining that much damage, it's going to be so difficult to recover. So difficult. But again, you have to make a decision at this point. It's either, after taking all that damage, go for it all in, or try to be hyper greedy and drone up and recover. Hatsu made her choice. It is to try to drone and recover, but it's, again, not going to be an easy thing to accomplish. So we go 4th CC's on the way. Captainfisch moving out, and I'll be honest, this move out might just end the game. So because of the 22 drone kills earlier, and we did say that was game-ending damage, that does mean that Hatsu's had to and been forced to re-drone and resaturate, which means the army isn't there. There is no army. There's Baneling speed, yes, there's 2 Banelings on the way, but the reality is that we can stim and we can win. No. Marines, they do push forward. Wait, sorry, no stim? This is very late. Okay, never mind. Captainfisch did forget stim, so that's going to be a very late stim timing here for the Terran. And that will allow Hatsu to hold on. Okay, let's go. Again, stim is going to finish at what? 8.5 minutes? Jesus. Stim is delayed. Hive is soon to complete. This is still Hatsu being very greedy, rushing into ultras. Yeah, and this move out, this push is going to hit with stim with 1-1. And the goal for Captainfisch is to break Hatsu before ultras really factor in. Ultra cameras on the way. Captainfisch team going forward. Oh! Leading Bane off of creep. It should not connect. Does catch a tank, but where the Banelings, only 1 and 2 Banelings left. They both get targeted down. Oof. Lings, they will still clean up though. Not bad. Okay, Hatsu holding on. Cleans up the Marines. Takes down the tank. Alas, DPS output here is too high, and the tank is going to go down despite the healing pad. And the Ultra Cavern, it's going to finish. Hatsu holding on. The Bailings are a little bit too late, unfortunately, though. Forced to cancel. And Captainfisch is still so close to breaking Hatsu. So close. First Ultra's on the way. Kindness plating. +2 melee. Oh! Once again, nice target right there from Captainfisch. Does target down 2 more Bailings. And again, the Ultras need support. They're going to be on their own. 1, 2 queens go down, getting a 3rd queen, getting a 4th. Ay. Catching up 4, 5 queens, 6 queens go down, 7 queens, and 8. And the Ultra may pull, but at this point, even pure Marine can deal with the Ultra. Oh, tank does on siege. Okay, never mind. From here, the Ultra down to half HP. And the Ultra does fall. Again, the upgrades just aren't there for the Ultra, so the Ultra is just... yeah, it's very fragile. It's very fragile without kindness plating, as it was not done, and Captainfisch has broken the 3rd base. Cleans up the Lings. Again, took down 22 workers earlier, and it was just a rough road to recovery there for Hatsu after losing all those workers, all those drones. Did survive into Ultras, which is impressive, by the way. Very impressive. Got to Ultra Tech. But the economy just isn't there. There's 1 drone at the 4th base. There's no workers here at the 3rd. I should say 1 drone at the 3rd. Jump into the main. And the tech is being called out. Hatsu, it does save the drones, actually. Didn't notice. Workers did get away. Let's go. As they make their way home, or at least are trying to. Come back, Pappy, come back. They're making it. Transfer to the 4th. Oof, Ultra gets started. And again, even, I mean, kindness plating was, well, did complete, actually, did complete. Well, the Ultra Captain went down. And behind this, Captainfisch has just been producing, just making more Marines. Takes down the Bailings, and there it is. GG gets called. There's just nothing left here, and Captainfisch will take the series 2-1, advancing on to the round of 16. GG. GG, well played. Impressive play here by Captainfisch, able to survive the aggression of Hatsu. Again, I do feel like game 2, we could have seen a little bit more assertiveness out of our Zerg player to actually break through, but there was a little bit too much sensitivity there. Did pull away, did allow Captainfisch to recover, to build up, and to overwhelm. Game 3 was a little bit more odd, I will say, when it came to the build of choice, going into the fast Baneling Nest, which again didn't really come to fruition, then rushing to fast Layer, to fast Ultras, crazy build. Unfortunately, in doing so, was cutting a lot of Lings, and alas, wasn't quite able to stop the Hellion run by. The Hellion run by got 22 drone kills. That was game-winning damage. GG, well played. That Hellion run by was brutal, and with that, Captainfisch does advance on into the next round. And let us switch our scenes over and catch up on the bracket.